Welcome everybody to 48 Talk episode 112. I am your host, Rachbaldi, as always. Joining me this time it's DX on the right, Derek on the bottom left, and Colin Jans on the bottom right. Hey everybody, how you guys doing?
Hi.
A bit tired, but I'm okay.
Yeah, we Dutchies watched the Janken live. I think Derek was just like, it's normal for me. Nothing else on the side.
I only saw the first hour, so you're gonna have to fill me in about the rest. So.
Well, don't worry about that. We will fill in on that greatly. But before we
Gotcha.
do that, we have a lot of news to talk about. Starting off with Nogizaka46, big announcement.
Oh man.
One of
Just
just a little bit.
Just
One
a
of
little bit,
the
just-
aces of the center in the past. I don't know how many songs. NIshino Nanase announced graduation. So,
Crazy.
like, even we talk mostly about AKB48 and the group there, but even thinking about this, how big of a name Nishino Nanase is just crazy. That it's like we had Ikoma Arena announce graduation or graduated early this year, and
Yeah.
now another one of those top members just
Mhm.
leaving in there. So the feeling is Nogizaka okay, or is it time to pass their torch? Because other than Shirai Shimai, I would say this is like their Achan going to graduate next year.
Yeah, pretty much. This is quite the impact, I would say. So
Mm.
it's about Achan level if we're talking about the graduation level. So.
Yeah, just last year she was main starring in the movie, of course, the Asahi
Mhm.
versions of that, and she's always been center, promptly on there. The members know that the innocent smile of hers is always fun. Um, yeah, I would say it's a little bit. This was really a shocking announcement because we really didn't expect it, or really
Yeah,
didn't like. Maybe.
I was just checking up my Japanese sites about any news, and then I saw Nishino Nanase Sotsugi Hapyo. Like, what? I just typed in the group chat of our crew chat, and you were like, "What? Really? Are you serious?" I think all of you were in shock pretty much. So,
Well, the thing is now, so she announced it on her blog,
yeah,
and it's not going to be happening immediate. It's like next year somewhere because they want a big concert, of course, as
yeah,
she deserves on that side.
it's a big preparation, like Iko Marina.
And
Like,
she also decided not to leave the entertainment business, so it's probably going into acting or
I would say acting, yes.
yeah,
So I
that's
would say
more her
acting.
side. Her singing is pretty good, but I think her acting wise, because she's more visually enhanced, so maybe on
Yeah.
variety shows gonna be on there.
Hmm.
Yeah, my thoughts is like when I first got into Nogi, and pretty much when I say got into, it's like my very casual interest in them because I'm not really my group. She was the one that stuck out to me because she had that like real tight lip, kind of shy smile, and was kind of like the counter to Shirashimai. Like if Shirashimai is, I don't know, maybe Achan, she would be Yuko, or vice versa, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
those, and I'm not, and I no disrespect to the Akoma fans out there because I'm a huge Akoma fan, but I always looked at Akoma more as like a Takamina kind of, I
Hmm.
guess in a way, I don't know, kind of, sort of. Anyways, so it's a huge blow for Nogi, but at the same time, I think like their golden gen era is over now. Like it's now it's gonna start. Like we'll see the dominoes start falling. But think about it. What did Nogi want to do? They wanted to play a certain place, and they played it, didn't they? What's that
Exactly,
place?
exactly.
The
Tokyo Dome.
Dome,
The dome.
And that's
right?
it.
And
That's
Yeah.
so
the end all,
repeat it.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, AKB played it, and then look what happened. Boom, 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 boom.
Yep.
Now Nogi played it. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, K is next. I mean,
Chaos next year, I would say. If
Next.
you're not really that to
Just
play
give it a few more years, please.
yeah, to play in the dome, I would say. To play in the dome, I would say. And afterwards, if
Yeah, but I think the thing is, it's like she did her job in Nogi. She's had a great run. She's not leaving the entertainment industry, which is great. I mean, I'm fairly certain she'll stick around. She's got a great face for film. She's a good. Is she a good actress? I don't know. Colin, have you seen her act? Were you saying, or did you guys?
the
I saw
last
her.
the last drama I've seen from Nishino Nanase was Video Girl Eye, and that was pretty good actually. So
It was good.
Yeah. What do you think, Colin?
I forgot the title, but I saw her somewhere, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, it's good." But I forget what it was.
Was it the with glasses and the sports school thing with the fighting and the long sticks? I forgot the
I,
name
I,
of that.
for- I no.
Well,
Something
I've seen that one. We know with the whole Nogi in there and the Asahi movie theater versions, and I really liked her acting in that. She has a prominent role in there. She really stands out on that side.
What I'm saying. So I mean, like, if she, she probably sees a better trajectory for herself, where it's more about her, not about this big group of girls that she has to compete with. She's always going to be in my shadow, in that sense. So it's like, why not go do your own thing? And I mean, I'm surprised, to be honest, surprised it took her this long. But they were wanting to play the Dome. They played the Dome. They have a couple good singles after that. Now I'm thinking she's probably thinking, yeah, it's time, And I wish her all the best. I don't think it's as big of a shock for me, again, because I'm not a huge Nogi fan. I am curious what the diehard Nogi fans are thinking. Like, I wish Josh was on here. So
Dava Mardikas.
Or Dava, yeah. I wonder what he's thinking. I'm sure he'll tell us. But
that's what I would say.
I don't think I have any problem with that. But I'm saying, I don't know. Do you guys think it's gonna be like a extremely negative thing? Do you think Nogi can survive? I mean, what are your guys' thoughts? Because that's what I'm really curious about.
I think Nogi will survive.
Yeah, that will be okay.
By the way, there's some feedback on your feed, Derek. I can hear my voice on you.
Oh, okay. Let me turn it down. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries. I think, with Momoka in there, that's a very good one. That be Ace and Yoda Yuki. They still have a lot of top members. Oh, still the feedback on the...
Oh, that's weird. It's on me?
It is on you, yes.
I think so, yeah.
That's so weird. All right, let me put my headphones in. Maybe that'll work.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, guys.
Let's just wait a moment. Is that better? Yeah.
Are you guys better?
That's okay. A lot better. Sorry about that, man.
All right, I'll just use this. No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. All right, continue.
All right. They still have like a top members. You have Saito Asuka, you have Ikuta Erika, you still have the captain, of course, Sakurai Reika, and those top members are still in there. The third gen, I would say, is they're now two, because you have, like I said, Yoda Yuki and Momoka in there.
Yep.
To hold that torch, but they are making preparation, I would say, to move on, and maybe this is the second chapter, because the Dome is the final step, basically, of making to your peak, and then what else is there to do, because they've done everything, and maybe is that feeling. The feeling was already there, because she was thinking about this for a year, so yeah, she's like, okay, time to move on. And but first of all, like a lot of people were thinking, of course, Shirai Shimai would do it first, sooner, like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
But she's like, no, I'm not done yet. It's like still fun for her, and then she's still getting a lot of gigs. She actually stopped doing gigs because she wants to focus more on Nogisaka. So maybe she's like preparing.
She's preparing, I would say. So she's probably training third gen to eventually succeed her. But I don't think she's done yet. Once she feels like the third gen is ready to go on, then she's going to graduate. But until then, I think Shirai Shimai is going to stay. So
it's
for now, for now they'll be okay. So
2018 has been a stellar year with graduations announcements.
Jeez, I know.
Yeah, wow.
But who do you think's gonna take Nanase's role? And like, who do you think's gonna step up?
It's not going to be Momoko, because she's probably going to succeed Shirai Shimai. Yoda Yuki or Saito Asuka, maybe?
Asuka, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Asuka is normally only the summer singles.
Normally.
Right.
Ikuta Erika could be one of those. Yeah, but
Erika would be cool.
The duo, the Shirai Shimai duo was Nishino Nanase. Those two, influencer, stuff like that.
Right.
Yep.
They really were the opposite sides, but also very close to each other. So seeing someone be in that role otherwise, I don't know. Maybe
that's a tough one.
I would like to see Sakurai Reika being more of a center role.
Yeah. What do our fans think? I want to know. Hopefully they'll give us an opinion. Which I'm sure they will.
Write down in the comments.
Don't worry about that. I would say don't worry about that.
Alright, well, continuing a little bit on the Nogisaka side, since they do a lot of work with that. There was alright, there's going to be a lot of controversy, since also I got a little bit attacked on Twitter because I replied to something, and it's okay, so this is very hard because it's different cultures, especially for the international crowd, to understand what the situation is, and you have this movement, and you know, the feminist side. So I think we're gonna get a lot of flack if we talk about this. But basically, what happened? So from Bananaman, Himura Yuki,
Yeah.
he he was approached by someone he dated or had friends with benefits in 2001. So this is 16 years ago, and or 17 years ago. And this woman, when they started to meet up, portrayed herself as a 21-year-old, but it turned out she was a 16-year-old, and they still were, you know, hanging out together. And now, 17 years later, Himura is still like this big star, of course, in celebrity in Japan, and now she just comes out, you know, basically using his celebrity status to make a whole situation of this. But Himura himself is now married to someone and is now doing his career on this side. He still had to apologize, and a lot of his peers are still supporting him, but there's been said that he's been taken off certain shows. I don't know how NoAKBNoLife will do this.
Yeah.
My personal thoughts is Japan is a lot different than what the Western culture is backlashing about, because it's the internet and, you know, everything gets really
Of
blown
course.
out of every side. So first up, the fact is it's 17 years ago and now you are basically complaining or coming out of this. First off, the woman did not get, you know, raped or anything or against her will. This was a mutual feeling they agreed upon. And the thing is, the age of consent in Japan is still lower than the rest of the world. So if we're looking at the illegal side, Himura has done nothing illegal or out of the sort, anything wrong against the law. So that's the first step. The second one is, again, 17 years ago, now you're using his celebrity status since you're like, oh, maybe I can get something out of it. That's also the problem reason. I do not agree though with his you know, judgment of saying, you know, I found out this girl is now 16. He should have ended it. It's like, this is a mistake, just stop it, even at that year. But the fact that basically what they're saying is that he went on with it on a like mutual agreements, like, yeah, it's like I don't care that much. That's the biggest mistake, I would say, because he works with NoAKBNoLife and a young female, and if those are his thoughts, that he doesn't mind about the age, that can give a little bit backlash. I think that's the biggest factor. Do I blame him on what is? Well, first off, it was 17 years ago, and I would say even a year can change a person's opinion, mindset, or anything. The Himura who we see now is not the same one as 17 years ago, so we don't know what his thought process is. So when I mentioned this on Twitter to someone, I got a little backlash like, this shouldn't be okay, what does it mean, this or that. It's like, basically blowing this out of proportion is useless, because this woman wants attention or wants something out of it, and to focus more on this just makes things worse. I would say, as any other scandal usually happens, just give the moment, let it pass down, and let's move on. I wouldn't say let him get a punishment. The fact that he already had to apologize publicly, that's really a Japan thing to do. Even that, I would say, like, was that really necessary? Because it's a whole different situation, and he didn't do it recently or anything. It's been like a decade, more than a decade ago. So, what do you guys think on this situation? Personally, I'm like, this is nothing. Just it blew up because of the internet. But what are you guys' thoughts about this?
To be quite honest, though, yeah, I'm not sure how to respond to this. It's more like when the whole news broke out, I took a quick look at the Constitution of Japan, what the age of consent is, and it originally is like 13, but certain prefectures have a separate law in place to make it like 18, like the usual, the adult like. So it's more like Hatachi or higher, I would say. But
Again, though,
fair,
did you check it what it was 17 years ago?
no, I've only seen the recent constitution, so I don't know what the constitution was like 17 years ago.
Yeah, maybe they
Probably
changed
lower.
it. Yeah.
Not true, but still, I'm not sure how to respond to this, because if it is consensual anyway, and if I take the law in hand, I don't think, yeah, I don't know, it's been way out of proportion, and you know it's blew up, and I don't think, to be quite honest, it's more like not sure how to think about this. To be fair, I wanted to do a bit more research about it, but I'm still not done yet, so I'm not sure how to respond to this.
Colin?
You know, this is a relatively political subject. It's a bit different to talk about in other countries, like policies on how they do and believe in such things, such as the say the difference between age and what kind of age she was. It's always difficult, wherever it is, who it is about. It's always difficult. For me, the key thing is 17 years ago. To me, those are like magical words. It's like, really, you need to bring something up from 17 years ago? It's like, I'm not trying to generalize it, but to me, if you have to bring something up that happened 17 years ago, it's like, why now? Why did it take so long? So it's I don't know what to make of it. It's so difficult, like you guys said. I don't think he's a bad person by any means. I think he's a pretty good guy. I at worst I would say he made a bad judge. He made his character impression of that particular girl was probably off, but that can happen to everyone. Not to say that he is someone who can make all good judgments about people all the time. Maybe I don't know. It's a difficult situation. Like 17 years ago, it's like he was different, she was different. The whole situation is, it's a bit of a sigh, really. We all know this like subject and what happened in the past. I don't know how many months you want to call it. I'm like not interested in it anymore. I give less and less of a damn. As long as it doesn't offend me personally, I am relatively okay with it, because it's like someone always has to say something about something, you know. And what Robin said about like his little backlash, it's like, you know, they are, how to say, stepped on their toes. It's like there are always people who are like, you know, like they advocate about something. And it's not bad to advocate about something if it's strongly to you, if you see something you think is wrong.
Colin, how are they?
What?
How are they? I didn't hear you. I can hear you do that all day. I'm sorry, that's amazing. Anyway, continue. Sorry.
It's like, you know, like the Dutch saying goes, you're making an elephant out of a mosquito. It's like this little thing. It's like,
yeah, you're blowing it up.
Yeah,
way out
it's
of
like,
proportion.
Precisely. It's like what I wanted to say. If you want to advocate for something, you know, that's good. You know, good for you. But it's like, I could like do this, and someone is like, that's wrong. Or I could like point, and someone is, you cannot point with one finger. That is not, you know, even in Disneyland, they must point with two fingers because it's rude. And it's like, I don't know.
What this girl, what is she saying exactly? I didn't catch what is her problem? Like, what is the problem? Is it just because she was underage?
No, okay, so she came out to a magazine or tabloid and says she had sexual intercourse with Himura-san.
Right.
And that was in 2001. And basically, okay, then what exactly happened? Well, in 2001, I was 16 years old, and we had, well, intercourse. Basically, that's the story. And at first, when we started, I told him I was 21, but after the fact, we did it, and then I came clean and said I was 16. Yes, Colin?
I will say this one thing. That alone, like saying you're a different age, to me already is a bad sign. You know, why you lie about your age? It's like don't do that. It's like you do that to me, like something as simple as your age. Like, come on, like.
A lot of people do it still. So,
I don't.
Anyway. So the biggest problem is the bad judgment call. Is she said after the fact she told him he was 16 that he decided, you know what, I still like you and let's continue this. So they still continued their relationship. Their friends were better because they weren't in like relationships, like just hanging out and occasionally have intercourse together. The fact that's the biggest problem to the public's eye, I would say. Again, by law, age of consent is still, it's not illegal. Is it okay? No, because it's still underage, and Japan's law. But you get whole political this. Japan laws should maybe change, like the except certain prefectures are already doing to 18, and the rest of the world, the majority of the world, is like 18 plus on this side too. And of course it happens, but the biggest factor I would say is just because he's a celebrity and pretty big celebrity, what he is. It's more of like, oh my god, but I, watch you on TV and you're supposed to be this image and it's now tarnished. And again,
you betrayed me! Oh my god!
It's 17 years ago. He's married now, happily married, doing fine, doing lots of good work. Totally different lifestyle, I would say. And even then, if you really want to go just by law and by stuff, it's okay. It's not the cleanest image, I would say, but it's nothing to be like, okay, well, no more shows for you and your career is over. It's not like what we had, was it earlier this year or last year? With
Antaroke. I know what you mean.
No, I mean the guy who broke in a house.
Oh, Antaroke. Yeah, that's the guy who presents Antaroke.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Top lead from Top Lead.
Top Lead, that was the word I'm looking for. Yeah, that's different, I would say, because that's recently and that's also like breaking the law. Then I'm like, yeah, I don't think you want that one in your midst. This, however, is a situation I'm like, is this really an issue? Is this really becoming such an issue? And then we get a whole nother ball game on how people are way too sensitive on these sides. And then even now, when I'm speaking about this, there are definitely going to be people who are going to be maybe commenting or going to be on Twitter and be like, I don't agree what you said. It's like, okay, then don't agree, because this is how basically I feel about this. If you don't like my opinion, it's like, okay, it's my opinion alone. So you don't have to agree with me. Basically. Well, Derek, what are your thoughts on this situation, though?
Yeah, you guys really said it very beautifully. I guess maybe I'll just add a couple things. I think if you are the kind of person that thinks eating a dog is wrong, then you're not the person I want to talk to about this issue, because it goes to culture. In Korea, you eat dog, it's no big deal. It really is. And actually that is true. And not all of Korea, but there are parts. But in America, we'd be like, oh my God, you eat man's best friend. You're horrible. No, you just don't. You didn't grow up in a place where that's acceptable. And I think in the same regard in Japan, I've seen relationships here with people that are 20, 30 years apart. My own mother was 15 years apart when she had my two brothers with her, I don't know necessarily if, because the girl was 16 and he would have been 26, 27. I think he's in his 40s. So he was in his late 20s, we'll say. You're only talking maybe 10 years difference. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying, like, there's such thing as letter of the law and intent of the law. Letter of the law will tell you if there's a stop sign and it's the middle of the night and there's no other cars around, that you should do a complete stop, pause, look both ways, and go in America. Intent of the law is like, do a quick little stop and go. There's no one there, And if you get busted, a judge would take you into account that. Well, it's like 3 in the morning. There's no one there. We understand you're just trying to get home. You're not necessarily breaking the law. You're interpreting the law to fit the situation. I know that might sound a very snaky way of saying things, but what I'm saying is, if this girl had been 2 years older and he had been, well, I guess same age, whatever, it's okay. Versus, even let's say if she was 1 year older, closer to that age of consent, and he's 26 or whatever, and they willingly agreed and they willingly had consent, and even after she lied to him and said, oh, by the way, I totally fooled you and I'm not, you know, you just committed rape, you know, and yet she's like, but I'll still have sex with you, it's cool, like, let's get it on because we're cool, and they kept going. I don't know. I have to look at it through this filter and this filter only, because this is the only way I think I can look at things anymore in this world. And it's how this law pertains to me as a father. If my daughter was in that same situation, and she was 16 years old, and she met a 26-year-old man, and they had a friends with benefits relationship. Not that I want to think about my daughter having that, but if she had that, I would say if that makes her happy and that makes him happy, I don't care. And in fact, I'd almost be grateful he's 26 and not some 20-year-old punk who can't take care of her because he has no job. And if she gets pregnant, she's basically out on her own. Versus a 26-year-old man might be a little more inclined to be a little more responsible. That's not always true. Definitely not. Plenty of deadbeat losers out there of every age that's a guy. But what I'm saying is, if my daughter wanted to do that at 16, 17, 18, more power to her, you know, because I understand why those laws are in place. I think they're great. I think they do protect our children. I think they should be there. But I'm also saying you have to interpret the situation. They had a consensual sexual relationship that even was based on a lie, but then went on and on. My question is this: what is this girl's motivation to bring it up now? Honestly, is it just to tarnish this guy's name? He's happily married. He does great things for people. Everybody likes him. He seems, in his public persona, he's a good guy. And you're just going to come out, and I'm wondering how much that magazine or wherever she told us to paid her to say this. I think that's the real issue. Is she down on her luck? Did she try reaching out to Bananaman, and he was like, I'm married, I don't know what you want. And she's like, oh, that's cool. Well, I'm going to go get paid now because you rejected me. We don't know the story there. And that's the part that really bothers me. You're going to come out 17 years after you had a willingly consensual relationship by your own words. And then you're going to tarnish this guy's thing, and you're going to use a 2-year age difference between consent to make that be this big scandal. I think that's the part I have a problem with.
I think that's the biggest difference. Look, if it was 17 years ago and she was 10 years old, 12,
totally different.
Maybe even though 13 to 15, then I'll be at like, hey. But it's still not okay, because 16 is still a little young, because at 16
Agreed.
A lot of people make bad judgments, and that's the biggest thing.
Agreed.
The judgment on that, he made a bad call of seeing this, but again, if we look about this by law, it's just you know, a little bit like, nah, you shouldn't do this, like, nah, man, it's like, it's not a good choice. You don't know what his situation was. Maybe he was like, his image was like, well, yeah, I'm maybe a celebrity, but I'm very lonely, and in Japan it's very hard to get maybe someone that does, and got this feeling, and maybe they had mutual feeling, like actual interest in each other. Otherwise, wasn't there. Again, there wasn't be like she didn't know what she was doing or anything. That she didn't have any backlash. I think she was even treated well. So, looking at all those things, it's like, yeah, I couldn't call upon on this. So
well, Japan doesn't have Romeo and Juliet laws either, which, and in case people don't know what that is, that's like if you're really close in age but you're still underage, like a court could say it's okay. Japan doesn't have that. Like, technically, if two 10-year-olds had sex, they could be both brought up for statutory rape, both of them. So Japan is kind of strict in that regard. If you break the law, you break the law. And again, in Japan, they have no concept, no understanding of letter and intent of the law. If you break a law, you broke the law. Period. There is no give, okay? Because Japan's dumb like that, in my opinion. But what I would say is, in this case, there was this big age gap, but they had a willingly consensual relationship. Didn't seem to hurt anybody. Yes, at 16, you're definitely capable of making bad judgments. But I got to be honest, I can say that there are plenty of parents out there who would say about their daughters and their sons at 16 that they're smarter and more wiser than people that are 35 and 36-year-old, and vice versa. There's 36-year-olds that are dumber than 10-year-old kids. So, but what I'm saying, it's about puberty, it's about age consent, it's about understanding what you're doing, okay? And I think you have to take into all these things into account. And then the real question becomes, 17 years later, why are you saying it now? Is it because you were ashamed all these years? Because it was this big emotional thing for you and you have to let it out? Okay, then I can understand that. But even then, you admitted you guys kept having sex after you lied to him, and he's somehow the bad guy. I'm sorry, but I think you're a little bit in the wrong too for betraying his trust, number one, for trapping him and making him do something illegal without him even knowing. Although, again, in fairness, he's an idiot for not checking your license. But then even then, I mean, that could easily be fudged. And I mean, back then, it's not as easy as it is today to find out somebody's age or who, you know, anything. I still think it's just wrong on both their ends in that sense. But you're coming out now. And if it's not because you were emotionally trapped and felt like you just couldn't talk about it all the time, but you want a payday, then screw you. You know, you got what you deserve, in my opinion. I hate to be that mean about it, but that's my opinion. You got what you deserved because you lied to the guy and then you kept doing it. Sounds to me like there's no problem. I mean, by law, sure, you can use that to disgrace him, but by the relationship, you were cool with it. So why are you not cool with it now all of a sudden, 17 years later, huh? Why? Because you want a payday, because you watched too much of that Me Too stuff, and you were thinking, oh, I should get on this bandwagon. When there's actually people that really have been deeply affected by it and should be talked about in the Me Too movement, and you're kind of disgracing those people. Like people that have been genuinely raped and destroyed and hurt by the bad actions of a man or a woman. It goes both ways, by the way, and that didn't think about what they were doing with somebody. And you know, maybe we've all been part of that. Maybe we've all had a situation like that. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, you have to ask yourself, why now? And I just think I like Bananaman. I'm not saying because I like him, it's somehow right what he did. I'm simply saying that I just hope he can rebound. As a guy, it's not because he's a guy and I'm on his side. It's just because she admitted she kept doing it with him. Now, if she had said, "Oh, I tried to stop, but he kept going," then screw that guy. He should burn. But they kept going. They kept having fun. They having a good time. It was consensual, totally cool. And even after she lied, he was cool enough to say, "Oh, it's cool. Like I'm cool with that." Now, I'm not saying it's cool that she was 16. No. I'm saying it was cool that he didn't go to the cops and me. I mean, he could probably have prosecuted her. I think there's actually a law you could do that for her doing what she did. So he didn't do that. So they're both wrong in that sense. Like, according to law, both wrong, in my opinion. Both completely wrong. According to reality, it's gray. It's gray. And I think that's what you have to consider is the cultural differences here.
I think the biggest thing that upsetted me in the end is the backlash of fans, basically, or people. It's like, oh, this guy is awful. It's like, okay, you know the guy, right? If you follow him, you know how he is, you know how he reacts. And you immediately chastise him for a situation without thinking the whole situation through. So that's really what I'm disappointed on this. And I personally think, in the end, a lot of people, because basically the generalization right now is people are like, maybe what they're doing now, certain TV shows, they did the same thing with like Becky or someone else who had a scandal on the side. It's like, okay, just be off TV for now. And when this dies down, we'll just gradually put you back on the shows. And a lot of shows are like, whatever, just don't mention this too much. Or what Japan usually does is when it dies down, they use it in a joke later. They'll make maybe a reference to that situation. They'll laugh about it, like, ha ha ha, and then they move on to that situation. So, still, I think it needed to be talked about because Himura-san is well, close to a lot of idol groups, and since we talk about that, so I think it had to be said, and just move on. And again, personally on my side, I'm like, whatever, just move on.
Yeah, I'm just kind of the same. It's like whatever, just another thing for people to talk about, and also if you want to get really technical, don't you kind of feel the timing of this is pretty suspect? NIshino Nanase just announced his graduation, and all of a sudden this happens.
There were actually people who was thinking that the situation was with NIshino Nanase.
Wow.
Oh, interesting.
I'm like, well, that's impossible, but
yeah.
But I'm saying it's just the timing to maybe soften the blow. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it is. it's a little suspect. Literally, what was like the very next day or something or
Even
whatever.
the same
like,
day, basically.
Same day, yeah.
Same day. It's like you want to like soften that dramatic blow of Nanase by putting out this emotional piece about, you know, the Me Too movement entering Japan's, you know, daily, you know, discussion, because it's not really a thing here because, you know, women are like 20 years back pushed here in this country, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just interesting.
Cultural differences and the internet.
Cultural difference.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's go then to the biggest thing that happened today that we watched. So the Janken Taikai happened, and first off, they performed well, last year's winners, Fairy Wink, and I totally forgot that song and not even getting into that. Then they performed the Sentimental Train and stuff. Again, the first day sales came out and 1.5 million units sold.
Yep.
Well, clearly people didn't listen about, you know what, if it's a bad song, don't buy it. No, gotta get those handshake tickets.
Yeah, it's the
Yep.
handshake tickets, man. It's the handshake tickets.
Overall, there was no Masu Jurina there, no Miyawaki Sakura, and Yabuki Nako, because they were in Aizan. They were doing a viral video that they, well, I don't think it's a viral video, it's called V-video something. I don't know what it is.
V-Live.
Yeah, V-Live, thank you. And they were talking about chocolate mint.
Yeah.
Much more important, I would say, than the rock, paper, scissors tournament. So that's happening. So think about this. We had those three powerhouses gone. We didn't have... was Sashihara wasn't there, right?
No,
No.
I don't think so.
I think you're muted, Colin.
Or was she participating in the tournament or not? I'm not sure. to be
Sashi,
honest.
yeah.
Yeah.
She had like a middle school or something.
Oh yeah, it was like Sashi School or something like
Yeah,
that.
but
that's something
they
like
lost in the
Yeah,
preliminaries.
very
Oh,
early.
okay.
No, but there was no Yukari, no Cyanide. It's like so
all
many big names were gone, and this was basically looking how AKB48 group was. Who do you think was the strongest there? Like the image, like oh
Dasu.
hey,
Oh.
you think Dasu?
Dasu was there. She's number 2. So it's like she was there. Like we did notice her.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So they performed the first songs, of course, Sentimental Train, to all the coupling songs, and so what do you guys think of the full versions? I think still my favorite is the Taniguchi Mega song.
Yeah.
I think I like that one as performance. Visually, the Undergirls with Kautan in there looked amazing.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
with the, you know, that's basically the future, except for Kautan, of course. But
Yeah,
the
of course.
future of AKB is looking there. And I think the one that was the most lackluster was the Uki Now song.
Yeah.
That
Sadly
felt
so.
like it's just there. Otherwise, visually very interesting. They did a few Junken songs. You know, they did the what do you call that song again? Like the first Junken song.
Oh, it's also Jiban.
Yeah, and then they moved on to the whole segments. The funny thing is, so the top Senbatsu members, they were done. They had the one song basically. Then it's like, okay, we're just gonna be doing commentary in the back. And
Yep.
what do you guys think of this Junken Taikai compared to last year?
It's slightly better, but when something is a third, you know, when it's a bit better, it's like less of a third. You know.
You polished it up. It's still third, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that they did the Sentimental Train songs. I really liked it. I think it was fun to see them because you never see those B-sides songs performed unless maybe Request Hour. So I did really like that they did that. But overall, it's like I don't want to speak for the group, but I just want the cosplay. Like I don't care that much for the rest. I know that I believe Gino is like completely different.
Oh, he doesn't like Junken Taikai.
Yeah,
No,
see
he doesn't
that.
like it at all. Yeah.
See, I just care for the cosplay. That's if I discount AK Bingo, like getting into this entire phenomenon, Janken was the other thing where I picked a lot of girls that I liked. So and now it's like, not really. So for me, it was it was fun that I got to watch it with Robin and DX and then Yeo, of course, and Derek. That was fun, and with some hilarious antics on our part.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not saying anything. I just said
no. That's not safe for anything.
In light of what we just talked about, particularly.
Yeah. That's
hashtag blame you.
Blame Yeo.
Hashtag blame you.
That's why he is not. No, I'm kidding. We had fun. But it felt like doing it just for the sake of doing it. There were, surprisingly for me at least, and that's when I ended for now, a lot of girls that I wanted to do well did reasonably well, but no one that got that far. I think D Block was surprisingly the one where I had the most girls going for that did well, because Noza got out and Machorin did okay, but it's like I only really care for Oda Eri, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so basically how it looked, they did the same idea as last year, and I have the feeling that the budget for Janken is getting less and less, as we mentioned. This.
Yeah.
So
they didn't even have like a cart for the cake for Ojiri.
Yeah, okay, guys. So we'll get into that. So basically, how the venue looked like, it's the same thing as last year. Instead of the center stage, they do it in the front of the stage. So you have just people looking at it like a movie theater. It was nice that the members were going into the crowd and no gates or anything. They were very close, like immediate, very close on that side. Sadly though, it felt like I've been watching too much K-pop, because they were performing and they were just doing the just not their full energy in there. They're like, yay, we're having so much fun. Even with Show Fight, normally Show Fight is like a very intense song to dance like, and they were like So it fell flat on that, but very nice of them to just walk into the crowd and just look at that side. So they still missing the usual announcers that they had. I think the only one are the commentators that do the introductions, the female and the male, who just say which block will start and which members are going in there. But we're missing, the American. Is it American woman? I think who does the announcement on that.
Laney Hart,
Laney Hart, yeah. We have the guy who just said just do it, or let's do it, something like that. We had Jungle Pockets, who was like, hey, we're here as well, and do some jokes, and it's like, funny that you guys are here. Yeah, no statues, it didn't feel again. You had like a screen and they did the usual opening. It wasn't that great. We did have Izuri Okada there, and the fun thing is they celebrated his birthday, because it was his birthday as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is what came in, Colin. So they had a cake for him. They did a little bit happy birthday, and he was like very flustered. And it was Yokoyama Yui walking out with Ogino Yuka and Okada Nana, carrying this pretty big cake. And I'm like, you guys couldn't get a cart or anything. Yeah. And then they showed it. It's like, yeah, thanks for the cake. Can't eat it right now. What are you guys doing actually? We're just gonna hang out backstage or something. We're not that busy. And then they walk out with the cake again. It's like,
it looks so strange. Actually, just walk in. It's like, huh?
Yeah, slightly amateuristic, if you ask me. It's like, really, come on. It's like, they could have easily got something.
And that's the word you're looking for, amateuristic, because there were so many moments. It was like, where do we need to stand? Where do we need to go? Just do it, or like, it really was a cluster of chaos, and it doesn't. They don't do much effort to this anymore. I do like the fact that the blocks have been cut severely, because instead of 8 blocks, it's now 4 blocks.
Yeah.
And it went by pretty fast. For some reason, it's still 4 hours instead of 5 hours, so that's better. They go to the introduction very fast. Normally, you have to the walk, of course, and they show off what they had. No Panda Army like last year.
Sadly not.
The costumes, there were more costumes than last year, I would say, but still it was like, no, we're doing it seriously, instead of the jokey costumes or like, You remember the year where we had Takamina in this Tokyo Tower, and then
Sure.
so I'm missing that, but lots of RPGs came in there, like Destiny, who was in that, or like SKE being like the Dragon Quest, or we call them pirates.
Cool.
Stuff.
Or a real RPG, like a rocket launcher.
Yeah, the Muto sisters who got guns and the grenade launcher.
Yeah.
That was cool, yeah.
So, well, before we go into the blog, so what do you guys think on this whole situation?
It's not as fun as, to be quite honest though, the whole Janken Taikai is not as fun as it used to be. Ever since the cut down to units, it's more like, no, it's lackluster nowadays. So, I have a feeling they gradually are phasing it out, I would say, so, sadly. But that's the feeling I have overall.
No more Sosenkyo, no more Janken?
No, I hope not, but I still have the feeling they're phasing it out, so can't help it having that feeling though.
I think management just needs a wake up call. They need to realize like they're sinking one of the two biggest events in AKB's timeline every year. The Susenkyo, you know, that's the one thing I remember looking forward to every year, and then the Junkin was the other thing. And I remember how many times. I mean, I haven't missed a Junkin since I want to say Jarina, and you know, I remember like just the excitement, how shaky I was, like watching those final battles, like screaming my head off at 5 a.m, crying when people won. Like it was so much fun. Like it was great, and like the walks were great. The variety element was fantastic. You had all these major players there. It was like the must see ticket, and it was like you never knew. You just didn't know what was going to happen. You had, I mean, Kojiharu coming out with what was the whole Nogi?
Kojisaka 46. Kojisaka.
How many memorable moments came out of the Junket? I mean, for crying out loud, I can go a few bus stations over and see Uchiwa, or not Uchiwa. No, sorry. What's her name's yakiniku place?
Oh, Uchiwa Mayumi.
Yeah, Uchiwa. Like it came out of this. It came out of this, and that's, if you think about the long, beautiful storied history of the Junkin, to come to this, honestly, this is the worst thing I've ever seen AKB do. This was probably the most depressing and most this is right up there with last year's Sosenkyo, because honestly, there was no energy, like you said, Robin. Nobody was in it. At the end, they were just. It was like. Nobody cared. There was no stars. I mean, Sashi. Well, I mean, it's like you. Even if you were participating, you couldn't be there. Like you couldn't be supporting one of these great, amazing things. And also, too, you're gonna get rid of all your stars in prelims, which nobody watched. And it's like, I don't know. I disagree with you on one sense, Robin. I wanted there to be a bunch of blocks. I think it's really easy to fix this. It's super easy. Maybe not easy in terms of logistics, but easy in concept. Make it a 3-day event. Make it a huge event. Make it a concert/Junkin tournament for the first 2 days. Last day you have the finals, and have every single girl participate. And make it badass. That's all I'm saying. Bring back the cosplay. I want to see them walk. When what's her name was dressed as like what was it, like a little blob, and then she jumped up. She graduated. She works at
NIshino Nanase,
yeah. That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I cried laughing. That was so funny. And just little things like that. I want to see Tani for once. For once, I'd like to see her participate instead of getting knocked out in stupid prelims every single year. So it's like you do that, and you make this return to glory. You get back your old announcer. You know what? Nothing against Jerry. I like him. Get the other guy. I mean, that dude had the voice.
Yeah.
Get him back. Go old school.
Scandal, though.
Get this all back. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, does that really matter? I'm saying, like, it's like get this back to what it used to be, an exciting event. Get rid of the groups, because half those girls I don't even see, I don't even know. I mean, this year I barely knew anyone. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I'm glad, because I like the idea of the Junkin being able to give a voice to somebody who isn't popular. That's actually cool. But I still think you need a mix of the great girls too.
Give them their
Powerhouses.
moments. Basically,
Yeah.
like you said, when they came out, I remember Oshima Yuko came out, and she had like this entire people who were carrying her, and she was doing like a Matsuri festival
Yeah.
style.
Oh
That's
yeah.
Cool. There's how many memorable or your girl? How about her?
Yeah.
Who did you?
with her sister,
With
yeah.
her sister, or she did the
my
para style
God.
in a Night of
Yeah.
Fire. Or
Oh my God! Remember,
Yeah.
Robin? Remember we were watching and how we were like freaking out.
it's like
She
it's her
was
sister.
so
It's like,
hot.
oh my god.
It's her sister.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we were freaking out. Like the cosplay was at the heart of the Janken, and you took it out. The girls, their costumes. I mean, well, some of them look pretty cool.
Yeah, but there's no interaction. There wasn't a moment you
There's
can
nothing.
enjoy. They're like, we come out, hey, this is
Nothing.
my costume. Okay, we're going away now. It's like when the SKE girls came out for the Dragon Quest. Let them have a segment. Let them fight a
Yeah.
monster or
Yeah.
something. Let them
But
do
how cool
the
would that be?
reenact the Dragon Quest style.
The
Or
one girl, she would do the ninja moves, man. She would just do like flips, and she was dressed as the ninja every year. Like, what happened? Like that was so unique, because that's the one thing the Junkin had every year that made it so perfect. It wasn't about the actual Junkin. You
No.
didn't know what was gonna happen.
Mhm.
You had no idea what that girl was gonna wear. There was so much excitement about the thought process they would put into it. Now it's I mean, Riton's about the only one that actually like tried at least. You know, I mean, some of those girls did, in fairness, but I mean, honestly, like that element you took out, and then the prizes. I mean, the prizes are kind of cool. I mean, I'm okay with they could shift around, but I always thought it was great to have a single where you
Yeah.
beat everybody and you got to be the center. That was the whole point.
Mhm.
And like, don't get me wrong, solo thing is cool, but I think like how like Jirina's solo, like or Jirina's win. That
Mhm.
song is it's amazing. It was beautiful. Paruru's song, I love her
yeah,
song.
they just
The intro is great.
just think
Like-
about it. So they played a lot of Junken songs. None of them were the single songs.
Thank you. And what does that
Yeah.
say about their confidence and what they're doing? And it's like you take that out, and then you take out the announcements. I mean, what?
It
It's
was
the-
Yeah.
okay. So.
What? Anyways, go.
Yeah, we had then A block, B block, C block, and D block. And just thinking about now, I watched this today, and A block, I'm thinking, what happened in A block that was like huge or a factor that I'm like amazing about it? I really cannot think anything. It's like, oh, that was a great moment, or that was a great moment. So basically, for me, it was C block, mostly because those were the most famous. We had Matsuri in there with Meru, and we had Nozawa Reina in there, and we had here we go. The Muto sisters were in there, right? Yeah. So
Third block, yeah.
yeah, so those were some fun moments. I vividly remember Takahashi Juri because she looks so amazingly
Yeah.
gorgeous ever since
Oh my God.
the whole
Thank you,
produce for
Korea.
it.
Thank you, Korea.
We
And
remember the commentators more. It's like
well, the thing is,
Right
Colin,
there, Colin. Right
we
there.
were talking about the new single, the new center maybe. And if Takahashi looks like that, she's like this visually enhanced person right now. I would say that's a very good center to have, and we know she
Yeah.
can sing.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
maybe it's time for her to be a central, and I'm hoping for that now. And basically that's what we were hoping at the end of the show, because we were hoping for announcement. Nothing came out of this.
Nothing.
Oh, wow.
And now they announced the announcement for tomorrow. I'm like, just do it there. Why wait? Why it must be on a handshake event?
You know, I
Money.
do think a little in between. I think the announcement personally will not be for the next song. I think it's the MV for Sentimental Train. That's what I think. Just in between.
Bleh.
But
Who cares?
it's
at
an
this point?
urgent announcement. I don't know what to make.
I think the
I-
the biggest thing with the Junken was there were few members that we liked, but they got knocked out immediately. So you had the
Yeah.
finals. Then we had to choose basically who we want to win in the finals. And yeah, the NGT Kenkyusei, they were getting probably because, hey, you're with 16 and this is maybe fun to see, and we had some good reactions, some good laughs in there. And then the actual finals, it was then Nikki versus
Fortune Cherry.
Fortune Cherry, and even that finals when they beat him, it was like, oh yeah, these are your winners. Yay, confetti, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, like what was that? And then no trophy. They got a discount check. They got one of those large checks you give sweepstakes winners. Like, what are they gonna do? Cash that in for a trophy? What was that? They couldn't afford even a plastic one?
It was this glass little trophy. Even with Sosenkyo, you get a better trophy than that.
You get a bigger one.
And it basically was, here you go. And then they came out with this big, like, gift certificate of, like, oh, you're entitled to have a single. And it's like, and they got it. And then it's like, okay, now we need to take it away because we're going to the final segments. Yokoyama Yui came out. She said, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. By the way, you girls have to sing this now. Okay, I'm off. And she left, and they're like, hey, pressure, yay, going to the crowd. And like, okay, we have to walk into the crowd, go back. I'm like, okay, announcements, anything. Nope, bye-bye. And it's like,
yep.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Again, last year was worse. They upped it a little bit, but it still felt like... And Colin, you mentioned it. Every time a new block started with the Janken, I was like...
Yeah.
It's like, just give us more entertaining to our block. Even the small concert, it was nice to hear the coupling songs, but it felt so like, okay, we do this now, we just... It was just like, for following a script very hard. There weren't any powerhouse MCs or anything. There weren't any fun moments. Yeah, not a memorable event, I would say, in the end.
I mean, the problem is this, though, too. It's like, Janken, like I said, it's one of the two biggest events in AKB's timeline, or at least it always has been. You have Sosenkyo, Janken, Request Hour. There's one more.
The Red versus White.
Yeah, Kohaku.
Yeah, Kohaku.
And Kohaku. Those are your four. Those are your four big ones. And particularly Janken and Sosenkyo, because so much is riding on it. And you're going to knock out a third, like almost all the girls that everybody wants to see in prelims and nobody watches. You have no star power going to this. You have a haphazard looking show. You don't have any appeal or zest whatsoever. I mean, I thought it was pretty telling that Okada Nana and Yumihan were sitting in rows and rows of empty seats. It's like, even if that was just by chance, you couldn't fill those. You couldn't put a couple fans in there. You couldn't give us at least the impression that people wanted to be there. I mean, it's like they don't even care. And that's the problem. This was seriously, like, I feel bad for the girl that's in AKB that got to participate in the Janken today, who actually really took time to think about her costume, who actually was really excited about this, and years later is going to look back and be like, what a pile of crap this was. Why did I spend 3 weeks thinking about my costume when nobody's going to care about this?
Wasn't it in the finals of the D block that they were like, okay, who is supporting Fortune Cherry? And it was like a delay, and it's like, yay.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
All right, can't you do it again because we didn't hear you? And they were like, yay.
That was.
Do you remember? Do you remember when Mariko was standing across in that final with what's her name? Girl that graduated, Nakamura Mariko, right?
Yeah.
Was it the Marikos? Yeah. Was it her?
I think so.
No.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
No, okay, you remember she was there, or she was there with Michan. You remember she was there with Michan? Oh my god! And it was like that whole place was buzzing. It was so loud, and people were freaking out. And when she won, you heard just gasps. I mean, you could hear when Marco put her hand up like this, and there was so much emotion, so many people crying, so many people happy.
How about 2 years
Today,
ago?
It was like.
How about just 2 years ago? The final with that.
Winning.
No, not with Milky, with Team B original. That's.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! Yes, I mean, like that's what I'm talking about. Like when you, it just wasn't there. There was no like wow, like oh my god, who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? It was about the individual. Now, don't get me wrong. If N2 would have won, if they would have won today,
it was a better reaction.
That would have been cool. I mean, NGT again, just on a steamroller, but also to just been neat. I'm not unhappy that the group that won. I mean, it's cool, whatever, because I don't even really know who they are, and I'm happy to see them get something, and maybe they're gonna have a great song. But it just didn't. At the end of the day, I was like, I didn't care. Because it's not about the individual anymore. It's not about the cosplay. It's not about the excitement of being at the head of a single
The
that you may
hardships.
never have a chance to be ahead of. Like, it's like, do they think this is gonna do well? Like, these girls are gonna sell 1 million. I mean, come on. I mean, no offense to them. Maybe they will. I hope they do. I hope their fans.
There's also the merchandise from all the units.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. The Janken like DX. I think you might be right. They might be phasing it out. This might be like it's kind of like when you go to a department store and it's complete trash, and like next month it's gonna be done. Like they just don't care. They're not telling anybody though. That's kind of DX. Did you feel that way?
I really felt that way because it's getting lackluster and more lackluster. It's like
it's just I really need to go sit down with AKS and like tell them what's up. Honestly, I'm so tempted to go there this week and be like, dudes, come on, like, what are you doing? Stop ruining something that doesn't have to be ruined. You know, come on.
A little more effort.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh well. But I had fun watching it with you guys. That was fun.
That's it. But any final thoughts on the Janken before we wrap things up?
Kawamoto Saya, who is in Jakarta, came back to perform the song. That's nice.
Waste of a ticket.
Yeah, that's true. What's not a waste of a ticket was that Mobile and Steffi, they were also there in the audience.
Oh yeah.
That's also nice.
I was also happy, we got to mention this, that Materin's family was sitting in the front row.
Finally.
That was...
They made it to 2 rounds, so...
Yeah.
That's okay.
Still, it was very smart that Machirin was the center there. She did her Otamage and then got a pop.
Yeah.
That was fun to see. I think that was a little bit of a highlight, but...
Very fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's not recommend this anymore for Janken.
Nope.
So, yeah, let's go into the recommendations of next week. So... what do you guys recommend that we should watch, or do you have any plugs?
For tomorrow, I would say the showroom. I would say with the whole announcement thing. Not sure what to expect. It can be the full. It can be the real version of Sentimental Train, or on the better side, it might be a Senbatsu announcement. I actually don't know what to expect. So.
Okay.
I just want to say that I think it's too soon to do the next single. I want to wait until like October, but that's just me.
Yeah, well, we first have the concert coming up, right, for Saine.
Yeah, end of next month, yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe there's the main focus on there, and then in between they'll do the announcement. So maybe November will be a new single announcement.
I think that's too late. I think
they need something. They need something to perform at Kohaku.
Yeah, and they need to sell the tickets, so it's like...
I don't see Jabaja being performed there, or Sentimental Train, to be honest.
I hope not. I hope not.
The year is flying very fast on this side. Well, personally, I would say if you haven't watched AK Bingo yet, that's a good one, because they got a little bit old school to the style, doing some word plays with the non-ranked members and Kashiwaki Yuki.
Oh, nice.
And there's still a follow-up for that for next week to see that. Otherwise, what is something that I'm like... no, not really. No, just nothing that's come to mind. Yeah, Colin?
I have 3 things.
3 things.
Ooh.
Go ahead.
Oh, cool.
One, I said this one last week. Nemosu is coming back. Yay? Okay.
Yay.
Wednesday will be the thumbnail performance in the AKB theater. I like that I like that stage a lot.
Oh yeah.
I will definitely watch that. And J-Pop Rocks did an interview with Nozawa Reina and Yokoyama Yui. People should read that.
Yeah,
Pretty
because
cool.
Derek set it up, right?
Yep, you're welcome. I did that in Yuihan also.
It's a very nice read. It's in English, so you can easily understand it. The pictures were also very nice. It's like a 5-minute read. Go read it. It's like it's interesting. That's all.
DX, do you have something?
No, I think it's all been mentioned. So I leave the word to Derek, I would say.
No, first thing I'm going to plug, of course, our Patreon to go a little bit in there, and if you would like to support this show, that you can help us, because it's been doing fine today, so that's happy. But who knows? Any moment it could be like poof, and then I have issue of recording the show. So if you want to support that and make the quality of the show a little bit better, go to our Patreon at 48 Talk and help us out. That's it on my side. So Derek, take it away.
Yeah, I kind of need a new computer too, I think. So I'm next in line after everything else, I think. But that's later, whatever. No, okay, well, yeah, a bunch of stuff. I mean, not so much on the AKB side, but I will say this. If you happen to be in Japan, I think whenever the next Kea handshake is, Kea Kizaka handshake is, one of our viewers, Robert Sussums, he's coming to Japan. He actually has a ton of handshake tickets to give away.
Wow.
He wants to be friendly. He wants to make some friends while he's here. He asked me, but I'm gonna be in Portland for what I'm gonna announce here soon. But yeah, but he, if you're gonna be in Japan, you want to go meet some Kea girls, free. He's here. Get in touch with one of us or something. I'll make the connection. Robert's a solid dude. So that's I guess one thing. Yes, watch AK Bingo. I'm actually gonna do that, Rob. I'm gonna listen to your suggestion. I'm gonna watch it as soon as we're done. I'm very excited to watch it because you said it was kind of old school, right? So
missed it. I missed this a lot. This style.
It was fun.
I've been actually. That's also a small little recommendation, and you'll mention this later. The second one I have. So first up, there's been this new compilation of videos on AK Bingo, and it basically makes the highlights of past AK Bingos, like Golden Era. And I'm watching these, and I'm like, just the old school gen, how powerful they were, how funny they were, and it's like they show more emotion, and I really miss that still in this new AK Bingo generation. Just the antics of Katsai Tomi with Eiri Inaba, or just Oshima Yuko, or I watched Machi Jurina defend against 10 other members because she didn't get pied in the face, and how those are reacts on that. I miss those episodes, and then just looking at these, they're very fun to watch. It's really a style that's missing in AK Bingo. So that's why I watched this week's, because they're going a little back to that style, and I hope they are like, yeah, these work a lot better. So get a little more out of it. And the other one, I still need to watch it, but NoAKBNoLife made a new MV, right? Take it away.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Strange Eons came out last night at I think it was last night. Yeah. Wow, time just disappears on me. Yeah, it came out. I was there. I helped film it for all the days they did it. I was there for many hours, day and night. It's interesting because what is actually in the MV isn't necessarily what we filmed. We filmed a lot more. So I'm hoping we'll get an extended cut someday, maybe. But I don't know. I think Yoko-san, she did a good job with it, and we've had a lot of good positive responses. The big thing we keep getting is about the outfits, and the outfits were, I think, just kind of a one-off for that MV. But yeah, everybody seemed to like it, and also it's probably the most English they've ever used in a song. So I think that's kind of cool too. Like if you see the subtitles, it's pretty much like half the songs in English. So it's like, I give it up to the girls for singing that much English. I know English isn't their strongest suit, but they did a great job. And also, I just remember how hard we worked on it. It was like some of those days, I want to say it was like 90 degrees out, and like we're walking around, Shinjuku and stuff, or just sweating to death, and
yeah,
it was not easy to film. It was not easy to film, but
yeah, I know how hot it was in Japan this summer. Yeah.
I mean, you just walk a little bit, you're soaked, and I mean, these girls, full outfits, makeup, and it wasn't easy, but they did a good job. I was very proud of them. I mean, we worked morning till night on this for a long time, and then I'm very proud of it. So I hope everyone gets a chance to watch that. And also, as far as my recommendations go, in 2 weeks, NECRONOMIDA will be at Portland in America to do the HP Lovecraft Film Festival. They will be performing a mini set on Friday, October 5th. And then they will be performing a full set October 6th, Saturday, at the film festival. then October 7th, they're going to be hanging out at the festival doing, there's a VIP, like, meet and greet for people who have VIP tickets. Plus, we'll just be there. I'll be running the merch table, I think, all 3 days or something. Also, on the Friday that we're doing the mini live, we're actually going to go right after the mini live to the HP Lovecraft bar. There's actually a bar, like, for HP Lovecraft fans in Portland, and we're going to do a full set there. Solo, we're going to do Bupan, Checkies, all that. So if you're in the area, please come check it out. There's tickets available online. You can get them through Eventbrite. You can go, I hope, through our link here. You know, it's going to be a good time. We already have a lot. We're selling tickets, so I'm very happy about that.
Good.
In November 1st through the 11th, we will be doing. I will be doing a tour for Oyasumi Hologram. Oyasumi Hologram are an incredible duo that is just, they're unbelievable idols. More on the alternative indie rock side than idol side, I'd say. But they've done it all. They're incredible, really good girls to work with. I don't know, they're just awesome. They're going to be doing their first ever United States tour. So November 1st through the 4th, they're going to be on the West Coast. They're going to be playing San Jose and San Francisco, Barkan Matsuri. They're actually going to be doing a VIP show, which I'll get to in a moment. They're going to be with special guest Toriana. Toriana is the chiptune queen. He makes music on Game Boys. I actually, Necroma had a show with her the other night. It was probably one of my favorite shows I've ever been to, ever. I don't know, it was just so much fun. Toriana is so excited about this, too, so I'm happy about that. And then Oyasumi Hologram will go to New York on November 6th. They'll have a show November 7th by themselves, November 8th by themselves, and November 9th, Necronomito will be flying over to join them. And they will be playing Sunnyvale in Brooklyn. And then November 10th is the New York Asia Music Festival, which is getting a lot of buzz and a lot of attention. They're going to be joined there by Opus Travelers, who's Chochi from Zeroski's side project. Crime Watch, which is a Japanese female-fronted hardcore from New York. Lake Cambrian, also from New York. Miwa Gemini, acoustic Japanese guitar player from New York. Mebius, Love Spread. Yeah, I think that's everyone. Also, Imaizumi Ray-chan from Necroma is going to be doing a solo set, both at the New York Asian Music Festival and at Sunnyvale. There, she's going to be doing a solo set as well. So that's going to be fun. And then on the 11th, the last day, we'll be in Philadelphia at Philomoka. It'll just be Mebius, Love Spread, Oya Hollow, and Necroma. Necroma's headlining all those dates. So if you want to go to that, please get your tickets. They're all available online. I have everything set up through Facebook at the Oyasumi Hologram World 27 tour page. Every single ticket you can get is there. Sunnyvale's general admission tickets, I think they still haven't put them up yet, but they're coming. But you can get the VIP tickets if you want. And then speaking of VIP, as of today, I am going to be offering courtesy, and not so much exclusive through 48 Talk, but it's one of the tickets from here. Courtesy and all thanks to Paul from Sweden, who was a generous donor for this. I have a free VIP ticket to give away to one of the shows, and it's not just any show, it's the most expensive show on the tour. So November 4th in Fremont, California, which is right between San Jose and San Francisco, at Phoenix Ash's musical studio. Phoenix Ash is nice enough to let us use her studio. We are doing a 30 guest only, so only 30 people, private show with Oya Hollow and Toriana. Now, Oya Hollow is not just going to be doing any show. They're doing an acoustic set. And it's the only time you're going to be able to see them do an acoustic set in America on the West Coast. And then Toriana is actually going to teach you how to play or how to make music on the Game Boy using the LSDJ chip inside the Game Boy. She's going to give a seminar. And yes, there'll be a translator, so don't worry. And then we're going to do meet and greet. And then if that wasn't enough, the VIP ticket, you're going to get a limited edition vinyl album by Toriana. Vinyl that she's making just for this tour. Oya Hollow has a limited edition VIP t-shirt. They're doing a limited edition wristband. And they're doing a limited edition signed poster. Plus, at this show, you're going to have plenty of time to actually talk to the girls. It's not going to be crazy. You'll still get to do checkies, but it's also going to be like a meet and greet. Like, you get to, like, talk to them. They're going to be chill. Toriana's allowing you to do selfies. She doesn't consider herself an idol, so you want to just snap a selfie with her. She has no problem with that. And, yeah, it's a huge ticket. It's worth $200. I'm giving it away here. One ticket. My only requirements for this, two things. One, tell us why you want this ticket. Tell us why I should give this to you. Best answer gets it. Number two, you have to go. I don't want you to get it and then not go.
It sounds amazing.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's only 30, and I've already sold, you know, a third of the tickets. So I mean it's gonna go pretty fast, and it's intimate. It's extremely intimate. So if you like Oyasumi Hologram, or you just want to be like, you know, in a very private show with an idol where you're getting like a once in a lifetime experience in America, go. Now granted, Oyaholo does acoustic sets all the time in Japan, but this is if you want to support them overseas. This is just, we've set it up. Oyasumi Hologram wants to do this. They're happy about it. Torian is so excited to do this. I really, really want whoever gets this to not just go, but bring people, or at least come to all the shows. I mean, it'd be great if you can come to all the shows before that, the 3 shows before that, and then we get to see you, and then they already know you. You know what I mean? It's going to be even more special. So tell me why you want it, and then make sure you 100% can go. I realize we have an international fan base, so I understand if it might be hard, but maybe you know somebody who can go. That's just as good. If you can tell me, guarantee your friend's going to go, that's fine. But leave this in the comments, I guess. Do you want to, I guess, do the comments? Yeah?
I think that's a good start. Or you can always go to other ways you can be available. Maybe
Twitter, go to the Facebook page.
Or to Facebook.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page. The Oyasumi Hologram World 27 Tour has a send message button. Send me your response there. It might be better, so we don't, in case we get a nice response, I don't want it to clog up our comments. I read the comments, so it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm going to read them. But please, if you want a $200 ticket to go see Oyasumi Hologram in Toriana, which is going to get you a bunch of stuff, plus private concert, you heard it here first.
Very good, then. All right, so if that's everything, I would say, then thank you for watching this week's episode of 48 Talk. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.